So here I am today, not to talk about what I have done, what is more about how many times I have done to in my life and how much struggle I have in the past. But before I start my story, I will just show you a book. So much. I wrote a book today, and about 4 weeks ago, my best friend gave me this book. The title is Your One Word Storage Advertise. Right here in the passbook, the writer says, "Unquestion and challenge yourself. If you use one single word to describe your whole life, the meaning of your life, the target to your life, what would that word be?" And he continued, "And sure, many of you do not have the answer yet. Is it truth?" Yes, but things have come. When I read the question about 4 weeks ago, 2 minutes later, I opened my mind. It came so easy, it came instantly. And I started to prepare for my statue today. Now look at my whole life, 22 years of living, working as a teacher, nearly to 20 years. I started to look at everything I have gone through. And so just going to share which I have my keyword here, but not go into in the end. It's about physics, and I want you to walk through the story in my life, and hopefully you'll find out why I came to realize the purpose of my life. I want to share with you. Okay, I was born into the family of 6 children, 5 boys and 1 girl, in the very remote area in Vietnam province. In the 1970s, life was such a struggle, and just raising up 6 children in the family, but he struggled. First, my father used to work for the East Army before 1975, and so life in the 70s was a little bit insecure about him. And every he was not going to go. They have And so, being born to the poor family, the first thing I experienced, especially I have a very carefree life, so much fun in the field with a buffalo with our friend. But I saw in my life, I started to experience the feeling of shameful, the feeling of being discriminated, and I started to see tears from my mom's eyes every time she children to live. And deep down, I started to realize what does mean to try and to be successful. But my life was time to quiet until the end. I find some terrible happened to me. My parents sent me to go to school. I have a long day just playing with my friend, and I enjoy more and hear very. But I couldn't understand. In the middle of the village, everybody care more about food and clothes. My father is very committed to education, and I cannot remember how many times he have everybody in the evening and with all and meet them. In the 1970-1980, he carefully reminded that about what we have done, what happened. The first thing you would do to educate everybody else for the family. Talk about not going to school. So he was very committed and very secret to me now, and where the idea came from. Everybody else in my family going again to education. So being in that situation, I learned the first lesson being grateful to having the chance to carry and loving mom and committed that father in my life. But then, I know the couldn't escape education. And for sometimes I feel jealous for the skills they have left down the plan. I started to find
Not
I
enjoying,
could not
to be
enjoy
honest.
it,
Sorry,
to be honest.
teacher.
Sorry, teacher.
And then I become a teacher, right? Extremely. Okay. But
But
my
my
life went
life
on
on my
to
own to
secondary
secondary
school and then
school
high
and high
school,
school,
very tired. The only
very
thing I could
tired
do is to stay
and
focused.
just stay
I was
focused.
very
I
obedient
was
at
very
that time, just
obedient for
listening to my
them.
parents and teachers all the time.
At
I
the time,
tried to
I
study
tried to
hard.
study hard.
Strangely,
I tried
the best score
the
I got in
best
high
score I
school
got in high
was
school was
6.7.
6.72.
I could never be
I
a
could
good
never
student in high
be a
school.
good
Even I
student.
know that
Everyone I know that have tried a lot.
so bad in
I
high
was
school.
so bad in high school.
But I did
But I
start to feel that I
started to
enjoyed
feel
it.
and enjoy more school.
And
And
this is also
this
sad.
is
At school,
a school I studied
experience
to
what people
experience what
care
people's school felt.
At the end of year
At the end
12,
of year
the
12, I to
university
be in
entrance
the
exam,
university exam. I felt,
first year.
but first year.
Interestingly,
Interestingly, I
not disappointed.
not
But I
disappointed,
begin to
but I
see
began
the
to see
eyes
the
of the
eyes
people
of
the look of disappointment,
look
more
disappointed
expectation.
and more expectation from me. So
So
I feel sad for 2 days. I hate my life by going back to Kentucky days, spend more 1 year reviewing the lessons, check the exam again the second year, looking by becoming a student at university. But I had to work again right on the first step into the university. I was among 255 students at the university time, not understand.
And so,
So in the
first
first month of the university, many times I talk about quitting university, going back home. Life is a department, right? But I felt so lucky at that time. You have one my teacher at university who understood on the about. He sat down patiently, explaining, encouraging, and supporting. So we overcame the problem and to the teacher that the second person that I felt so grateful to in my life.
And
And all I could do in my 4 years was to stay focused, and I never considered myself to be an intelligent person, but I did work very hard through 4 years. No playing, no favors, no computer at that time, luckily. So after 4 years, reward camp, I graduated top one in my class out of 255 students.
it was
It was
biggest
the biggest achievement
ever in my life.
ever in my life at that time. After that, I was frantic for the position of the university to become a lecturer. Wow, you can fly. Though I felt so happy, but I could happiness more in my parents' eyes, in the people who have judged me, gotten them myself. So I look around, see in life. My success at that time is nothing compared to that one, but I it to my position that somebody from poor family, from remote areas, struggling through the life to survive university. Achieving such success at the beginning in the life is so extraordinary, so significant to me at that time. So my journey again here at university. Despite 1945 years, I began working here 21 a teacher later. The first 5 years for me amazing, and I really enjoy working.
And
And
a lot of enjoyment came, but
and
then
I
I
love
took
enjoy.
and this time it's even more serious. I had not to the university.
And
to
the university
function
the
well,
functions way,
but then in life,
but I feel like so terrible.
nowhere
Nowhere in your school and in your life have somebody taught you how do they live in this life, how to stand up when you fall, how to behave inside them, how to cross person, not to talk about how to be successful. Have
as many times I failed,
and
hit
matter I feel and hit my
my
head.
within
I could at that time.
So
What I did, I observed the way people around me,
how do they live?
how do they live,
I
started to pick a strong idea and march on, become very competitive, try to work crazily. So to be what I compete for money, for material, for fame and position. And some extent, as was successful, I promoted at the university. At the same time, I began my business and charged the Joe tried building my own school. I worked crazily for about 5 years. And I felt so amazed by achievement I got during that time. But then in the year 2012, I began to hit the biggest work in my life. I lost all sense of meaning about the reasons for my existence in this life. I started to feel so tired of real life. It is not the way you should live your life. And I actually share with nobody at that time because I put on myself the identity of somebody who requires a cell phone. And I didn't allow myself to play or to complain or to reveal secret about moments in your life that you feel so weak and you want somebody to share. So no solution actually. I decided to apply the concept to go away, move away from my comfort zone. And the first 3 months in Australia for me was amazing. Remember the pictures in this shows you. I felt like escape from the noisy life into traffic to somewhere very quiet, very peaceful. When I have time and energy to come calmly and to think carefully about my life. I looking back at the time I tried for power, success, money, and position. I would say I don't claim in this time because I changed me so strong. Like worry, I look at that and say, these were the most terrible, the darkest time of my life if I look at how I experienced that. But time for me to experience the people that I met in my life that in Australia for 4 years. New ideas come, and the people I have met during this time have taught me so many lessons that I felt like just being reborn one more time. That is the time when I actually begin to think more about the meaning of my life and why I'm here. I decided to come back to Vietnam finish it. I think becomes so clear to me about what I want to do for my future. Now, when you started to see the light somewhere about how you going to live your life becomes so easy. Every single decision I made since then, but in the 2015 becomes easy to me because I do understand who I am. And every decision I make, I'm able to certify and explain clearly to people around me. And honestly, sharing with you in the past 5 years, I have made the biggest number of decisions in my life. I moved away from being someone who is more beaten to someone who can stand on my feet by myself. And a lot of decisions I made so far seem to depart a little bit from the traditional values and what sometimes my parents wanted to me. But now I understand me more and realize there's a lot of things that I need to challenge. Not that I don't show the respect to them, but I started to question the meaning of myself and secretly in the past few years. They realized that I have led to the phone. I started to feel what journey happiness to people. So if you look back at my life journey, it's not shocking to doing. You seem deep down and every said that I have felt. I started to realize that somebody laid the first step and grace for you to set up. Can you remember your parent and your teacher, can be your friend. If you absurd enough, you started to
you
realize
should not
if you
feel
do not feel brand of yourself too much every time you achieve something in life because you are not alone. You have tried your best, of course. Then underlying very depths to success there is somebody who's standing and supporting.
And the day I
And the day I
realized
realized how grateful I should be to life. Life has become so beautiful and fulfilling. And 2 years ago, I began a new habit, but every day I learned to practice thinking about how grateful I should be every day. 2 minutes after I was thinking about something or someone I mean happened to me in a day that I should feel thankful for.
and since then,
And since then, I learned to be more humble.
I learned to be more
I learned to be more responsible.
I learned to
I
care
learned to care more for other people. I stopped
and I
complaining.
enjoy
And I enjoy
almost
almost every moment, everything I do in my life.
That is also
And that is also the time when I started to realize that your happiness in your life actually doesn't come from the money.
doesn't come
It doesn't come from material that you have. Simply, it doesn't come only about your inner peace for yourself, but it comes from the feeling of sharing and helping other people and seeing that they achieve things in their life.
And so
So,
the words that
the
I
words that I have come up to myself, this is the word devoted and that to me in direction that will continue to my life in the future. You might have different understanding what I mean to devoted,
the word that I
but the word
want
that I want to say in the Vietnamese, this is the word from show.
and that is
And that's
only
it.
when you feel
Only when you feel that's it, your responsibility
to
to help
help people
people and to make them better and to see people around you find happiness and success. That's when you find that you really feel happy for yourself and that long-lasting happiness.
So
So, for the people here out there, if you are still struggling to find a way for yourself and hitting the one line is the best, I would kindly advise you to do this practice with me every day. Learn to be grateful,
and hopefully
and hopefully
see life
you will see life
so beautiful.
so beautiful and meaningful to live. Thank you.